My mother spent years using my allergy against me and calling it bad luck. What finally stopped her was a paper trail she didn't know existed. The accident started when I was 7. She packed a peanut butter sandwich in my lunch even though the school had my allergy on file. The nurse called her frantically while I wheezed on the office floor, hives climbing my neck. My mother showed up 20 minutes later wearing the same blank expression she'd perfect over the years. That night, my dad mentioned something about my grandmother's will at dinner, and my mother's jaw tightened the way it always did when money came up. Grandma had always favored me, and everyone knew it. After that came years of escalating mistakes. Thai food with peanut sauce she forgot about. Candy bars with peanuts left on my pillow as treats, then genuine-looking shock when I broke out. Once, peanut oil smeared on my doorknob before a school event. My dad worked nights and never saw the pattern, because she timed everything around his shifts. Afterward, she'd stroke my hair and buy me expensive gifts, apologizing for things she insisted weren't her fault, until I half believed I was the careless one. The breaking point came the week after my 17th birthday. Grandma had died 2 months earlier and left everything to me, with my mother as trustee until I turned 21. That's when the accident nearly became the last one. She baked a chocolate cake and insisted we celebrate just the two of us, since Dad was working a double. She watched me take the first bite with a small, waiting smile, and I knew something was wrong before my throat even started to close. The cake was loaded with peanut flour, far more than any accident. I barely reached my EpiPen while she stood there. The paramedic said I was lucky. In the ER, a doctor pulled me aside once my mother stepped out and said quietly, "The amount in that cake, this doesn't read as an accident. I'm documenting it." I didn't know it yet, but that sentence was the beginning of the end for my mother, not for me. Because here's where I made the choice that actually saved me. Everything in me wanted to handle it myself, quietly, the way she'd handled me. But I was 17 and terrified, and I knew that if I tried to fight her alone, she'd do what she always did. Get to the adults first with her tears and her reputation as the devoted mother of a sick child. So instead of trying to outmaneuver her, I started gathering. I asked the ER doctor for a copy of her documentation. I requested my own medical records. Every single reaction, dating back to age 7, each one logged with a date. I pulled the school nurse's incident reports. And during my 3 days in the hospital while I pretended to sleep, I heard my mother on the phone with a lawyer, her voice low, asking how quickly the inheritance would transfer if anything happened to me. I recorded it on my phone from under the blanket. None of it was a plan to hurt her. It was a plan to be believed. When I was discharged, I didn't go home and confront her. I took everything, the recording, the records, the pattern laid out in dates, to my dad first, because I finally understood he'd never seen it, and to a lawyer of my own, and then to the police, with the ER doctor's statement leading the way. The recording was the piece that broke it open. A grieving, devoted mother is easy to believe. A woman on tape asking how fast she inherits if her allergic child dies is not. Detectives lined it up against years of documented reactions that all conveniently happened when my father was at work, against the lethal dose in a cake she'd baked for a private celebration, against a will that made my death worth a fortune to her. She was arrested. She tried the tears, the reputation, the story about how careless I'd always been. It didn't hold because for the first time it wasn't my word against hers. It was a decade of records and her own voice. My dad, once he saw it all laid end to end, was destroyed that he'd missed it, but he stood between her and me the moment he understood. The court placed my inheritance under an independent trustee, out of her reach entirely. She's serving time now. I visit no one in a nursing home. I didn't become her. I just refused to let her rewrite one more version of events where I was the problem. I'm 20 now, in college. Allergy carefully managed by people I trust. Some nights, I still double-check every label out of habit, but I sleep, which I couldn't do for years. The truth was the only weapon I ever needed. It turned out to be enough.